hallway. She's like, she's very much out of control. Not like she can't take care of herself. So me and Brett Driver happened to be around, and we're like, we talked to her. We end up getting like her sister's number. We call her, and she's like, we tried everything. Don't call me again. I'm not helping her. And we actually had her mom's number too. We call her mom. She's like, yep, we tried to help her, and she won't take anything we do, so she's on her own. So, and we're like, well, shit. Me and Brett Driver.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, but you guys are still kind of being shit. So
family
members, but okay, whatever. So Brett and I are trying to figure out. We're talking to her, like, we talked to her. We end up getting like keep things safe, and like, we're like, well, I guess we should call the police. There's no one else to call. Call the police, I guess. And so the police come. And we're like, hey, she's having an episode. Like, she's not safe here. Like, we can't leave her here. Like, she will probably burn the place down or something. Like,
right? Yeah, I remember.
She's already demonstrating that. Like, she's destroying property. She's going nuts, and like, you can't just leave her there because, like, yeah. And so like, there's no one else to come through. And like, the police are like, well, she's not breaking any laws. And we're like, really? And they're like, yeah. Hold on. All right, let's have a little interview. I pull out my note, and the guy's talking to a cop. She pulls the notebook, and she's like, has she done any physical threats towards you? I'm like, no. She's like, has she made you fear for your safety? Wink, wink. I'm like, yes, she has, officer. And she's like, good. And you think she might be dangerous to herself and others? Wink, wink. I'm like, yes, she has, officer. Like, I had to go through these hoops just to get the cops to be able to put her into the cop car and take her to another place where she's just not on the street running wild, potentially a danger to
herself and others. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, so I had to like, you have to like, the cops can't just do it because they,
Right. And now,
there's no one else to do it. Like, you got to put them into the legal system.
That's what they're supposed to be here for. Like we said in the video, there's a social contract. If I do something wrong, you do something wrong, we be punished for it.
That's how that John Oliver video ends. Yeah. It's a woman, and it's a video of her, and she says
LA. But we need like other services than just police to fix everything.
Right. Yeah.
And like, now you have to put her into a legal system that's not suited for supporting her because it's the only option that's there, and it's just such a bad fit. Yeah. You can feel it.
No, I know.
Yeah.
This is, again, they used to take people like that and put them in like work to live houses. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, those had all kinds of issues, but that was how. And obviously there was a lot less of it. There was less population. There was, a lot more other sort of safety nets, and people, the world was obviously harsher too back in the day. Like you just die. I don't know what the right answer is there, but I've always thought that, and I've been doing some like research on this, and I don't know if this is the right answer, but like, if there was some type of system that was not jail, and it wasn't like, hey, just live here, and if you want our help, we'll give it to you, something that's completely voluntary, but something that's like somewhere in the middle, like it's like you're. I don't know if this person was homeless or whatnot. I don't know if they were. If they just had.
No, she was living in Unit 1.
Okay, so she had just had an episode. She had a breakdown.
Yeah, but she literally just let her dog go into the street. It's like, bye.
So that,
so it's just
a series of those breakdowns could lead to homelessness.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It sucks because at the end of the day, we have to be able to trust each other.
Yeah.
And there just needs to be like, people have to have a moral compass, and I can't look at you and just assume you have a good moral compass. You could only do so much of a background check, so we're in a very difficult position as a society.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, especially with like living in major cities like this too. It's like there's so many people and
come from all over the world.
I can imagine cops being stressed out. Like, I can imagine, the amount of responsibility that they have. But just like martial arts and meditation, there's no excuse. Right. Like the best example I can think of, which I heard the other day, is like, if someone works at Starbucks and the customer's upset, you do everything you can to make that customer not upset. Or you could be like, fuck you, and get fired.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Because you'd get fired.
You'd get fired.
Yeah.
And the cops, they're literally fucking people up. Right. Like straight up.
Yeah.
And nobody is holding them accountable. Like that. It's like, you teach your kids, if you have something to say to me, talk to me. Don't hit your brother and sister.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's that, to me, it's that simple right there. And like that is like something, you know, is not wired correctly in order for them to feel like, you know, batoning a protester with no weapons. Or I seen a cop today shoot a stun grenade into this woman's chest.
She was just peacefully protesting.
She had her hands up. It was like,
Yeah.
hey, you know, we're here, you know, peaceful protest.
Yeah, because he's probably super stressed out and a fucking asshole put together.
Man.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think in
But
terms
then
of film,
there's that, and then also I think what you get into, this is the deeper politics thing, but I'm not going to get too far into it. But I feel like there needs the better balance of accountability for law enforcement seems like it's a major issue right now, in the sense of, like, yes, I understand we need people to be bad, in the sense of we need cops to be able to like kick the shit out of someone and shoot people. Like, there's a role for that
when
in our
necessary,
society.
Yeah.
And some people are going to not see the full side of certain stories when it comes to what police have to do, and they'll get angry at them. And it can be unjustified. Sometimes you don't know the whole story. I saw a 10-second clip of some guy on Twitter getting beat up. Turns out he robbed a place. Turns out he already punched a cop. Turns out he's already, like, you know, fighting people. And
Yeah.
we didn't see that. We only saw the part where the cop punches. You know, so
there's
there's
a
that
lot
whole
there's a lot of
there's
mixed
that
signals.
whole element. But at the same time, it just seems like for every time I see that, I also still see one of those classic, this guy did not deserve whatever.
Yeah,
happened
girl's
to
sitting
them.
on the ground, hands on her head, and the cop just comes up and
Yeah.
maces her, then kicks her.
Her
And it's like,
knees are,
well,
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
wow.
and you see that, and then you're like, well, okay, and that cop is just going to disappear back into the line of riot police, or even still
Right.
going to go, even if it's not a riot situation, they're going to go back to the department and
Get reprimanded real quick, slap on the hand,
yeah,
and then
something like
back
that.
out there
and
again.
it's just kind of like,
Right.
well, you know, you still did this to another person, and it wasn't justified. So, like, you need to be accountable.
yeah.
At eventually, like, maybe you make a mistake or two, and I get mistakes can come with the job, but that's why they passed the whole qualified immunity law. Certain people make honest mistakes, and that happens. But then, what happens when you make 2 honest mistakes,
Right.
and then 3
Or
honest
3
mistakes?
or
It's like
4,
you're
or
a terrible.
18.
Then
Yeah,
You're
you're
a
a shitty
terrible
person.
police officer.
yeah, you're a
Right.
terrible police officer, but the problem
Right.
is that unfortunately there's no
There's no balance of accountability.
it's a-
in that
it's a
there's
gang,
no
it's
there's
a
no
club.
line there's no line, and
Right.
so and I feel like that's the main thing right now, which is like, yes, we need police in our society. Yes, we also need to find a way to balance out this accountability, so that
Yeah.
way there's not the reckless,
Yeah.
like, cavalier attitude of police officers who
Yeah, we can't.
I
You
saw
know,
a
it's
video
like,
of a guy
yeah.
who's smoking a cigarette at a bus stop in San Diego, which is illegal or something, you know,
Right.
and the cops just, like, you know, basically beat him up. And it's like, it's like, fuck that law. Make smoking legal again. I don't give a shit. Don't beat
Yeah.
him up. Like, you know, it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's like you're going to use that power for this situation, and it's that kind of accountability of, like, come on, like
There's also the discussion, though, of like,
who-
you know,
yeah, don't have a fucking hard on for arresting people, guys. Like, you're
They have
supposed
to meet a
protect
quota
us
too,
and serve
you
us.
know? Like it's this. I mean, the system is just so. It's so
are there
trash.
actual arrest
Imagine if
I think
firefighters
so.
had a quota.
I think there is.
And
Yeah,
every
put
once
out
in a
the
while,
story.
your house
I
would
don't-
just get
I don't
hosed.
know.
I know. I think there is.
Yeah.
I was watching.
firefighters had to start
the-
fires once in a while to meet the quota.
I was watching Netflix's The 13th, where it just kind of goes through the 13th Amendment and, you know, jail reform, and the cops actually admit, like, certain months, you know, we have to meet a certain amount of quota, a certain amount of these, a certain amount of these, in order for something. I don't
funding?
yeah, I don't know. I don't remember
probably
what
for
the rest
funding.
of the sentence was, but
I mean, but that's the thing. Like, the law enforcement quotas, like, need to be for internal review only. They had
Right.
nothing and zero relationship
with the
to what the
outside
cops
people.
experience on duty.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that there's a fundamental disconnect. There's no such thing as speeding ticket quotas. There's no such thing as arrest quotas. All
Right.
they're supposed to do is monitor and
Keep
interact
the
with
peace.
people
Right.
when they're needed. And this is the kind of, like, I feel like when we see the Minneapolis Police Department get disbanded, everyone's like, "You're crazy! No police!" And it's like, well, if the police union prevents reform like this from happening, it's basically what we're seeing is hostile takeovers of police departments.
I'm
so that
excited
way,
to see what happens in Minneapolis.
you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like,
We have to
that's, I
rebuild
feel
from
like
the
we're
ground
in
up.
those positions where it's like, it's not like they're not gonna actually. It's not like the police as a concept are disbanded,
Yeah.
all they're doing is basically saying, all right, union, you're preventing us from getting like any sort of reform, so we're disbanded, no more police, cool, so that means we don't need a union, contract's gone,
Yeah.
reform it on the city's terms with some reforms,
Right.
and then proceed as usual. It's
Right.
not like there's
And
not
of
gonna be
course,
cops.
like, I find myself mostly on the like middle conservative road most of the time, but the Republicans have taken advantage of that to being like, look what they're doing, they're defunding the cops, and it's like, why do you have to just point
Yeah.
fingers and like and just like say that? Because
See, but that's the thing.
without
I feel like
without like
Yeah.
taking a moment and saying like, okay, what does this mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, this
Like,
is
what
kind of
does
what,
this really mean?
and this is kind of what I think we were talking about earlier with the whole how you discuss politics and this video you guys made, and like that issue of like, wait a second, you can't defund the police. It's like, well, hold on, now we're arguing like symptoms at this point, so to speak,
Yeah.
rather than like what is the fundamental concept that we're discussing here. It's not the funding levels of police officers I mean, it may have direct correlations on things, but like what are we trying to accomplish here, and like maybe the defunding is reactionary in certain extents. Yeah, if you want police officers to have more training, which people also are asking for,
Yeah.
defunding works against it. We also see all sorts of symptomatic issues here. People talking about gun control like crazy 3 months ago, and now there's a spike in even left-leaning people
Right.
purchasing firearms.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want cops or not? Or do you want the second... Wait, hold on. Were guns banned? Or do you want cops banned?
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
both? Or like, hold on.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm
right.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
all these symptomatic concepts and specific action points, quote unquote, are conflicting with each other. And so the moment you start taking these hard stances on these action points, it's
Yeah.
like, if you're... Okay, like... Everyone made fun of the corporate commercials with COVID-19 a month ago.
Yeah.
Now corporate commercials have a new can message. Oh, we're not going to make fun of that now. It's like, hold on,
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, here's what we're doing about COVID, and here's what we're doing about Black Lives Matter. It's like, wait, hold on. It's like, you thought it was okay to make fun of it a month ago. Where's your funny montage of it's
Yeah.
making fun of it's
This
all
is-
these action points start to like
We just need a
collide.
hard reset. It needs a hard reset.
And it's like, hold on, are we
Put
social
the nuke down,
distancing
man.
still?
Put the nuke down.
Are we social distancing still or not?
Right.
Hold on, like, is COVID-19 killing more people than protesters and cops?
Okay,
Like, oh shit.
I saw a hilarious headline yesterday from the LA Times. It said, coronavirus spikes over the weekend, more cases seen than in a month. And I went on the LA County coronavirus number of cases, and it was literally, yes, there was 2 dates over the weekend, but the overall trajectory of the chart was like a nice slow down. And it's like,
Yeah.
but this headline is coronavirus cases spike, and it's like, over what time? Over the last 7 days? Sure. But it's still lower than it was then, and there's still a downward trajectory. And that's obviously doesn't recognize like cases go up and down.
Yeah, not to mention you have all the people making fun of the people protesting lockdowns. Now they can't. So they make fun of protesters. Then are we making fun of protesters still? It's like,
Yeah.
and it's like, you're idiots for breaking quarantine and protesting. And it's like, okay, now repeat that message. Come on, say it, and then they can't. It's like
Yeah.
this is this issue I see right now. It's like you hop on board with one of these like
No, it's
issues
it's
on too
toxic.
symptomatic
It's
of a
totally
level,
toxic.
and now
Yeah.
like it's I love it in a way though, because it's just threw the biggest curveball at all these people who
I just
like
feel like we're,
found they have their identity.
I'm not a
space.
conspiracy theorist at all, but I just
they're
find
fun.
it
But-
funny. I find it very funny. I just feel like, there's someone manipulating us.
It's me.
I-
Sorry, it's me.
It's
But
Nico.
continue.
He
It's
admitted it.
thank you finally for
Yeah.
admitting it. It's him, guys.
I mean, everybody already knows it.
Okay, go on.
Sorry,
Let's go into this.
I,
go.
I,
Wait,
let's go
I
into
have to.
Nico,
I have to
come
go
on.
soon.
Oh,
You gotta go. Come on.
Let's end this with like a mysterious.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, you're right. I
Message.
love conspiracy theories.
Me too.
Can we?
Who's the man behind this?
Do you have more details on this?
I'll
'Cause-
be honest.
yeah.
I'm very confused, and if you can make sense of all this, I will be very, very happy. I'll be, yeah.
I do enjoy the black square conspiracy theory. Like, are you?
That one right there was that one got because I found the original person who made it, and it was supposed to be specifically for like kind of like the music industry, and then through the game of telephone it ended up having another message.
Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. It totally isn't a conspiracy. It's people going, I like this. This is a cool way to like
Wow.
say something.
We
And-
don't
and
know
It's
the
support.
visual.
yet. Hold
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking
Let me
about.
just throw out the conspiracy first.
Okay. Go.
So, disclaimer, guys. This
Nico
isn't a
has it.
real.
He's really excited.
Yeah, this
This
isn't
is-
a real conspiracy. This isn't how things actually work. But Ray was throwing this out there.
But they could.
So when everybody started posting black squares on the Instagram, people were theorizing that maybe this was a tactic being used by a group to actually suppress discussion and to get everybody to be
Oh, yeah.
quiet
Oh, come
about it,
on.
to
No,
try
it
to
was just
put
an
out
accident.
the fire. Well, yeah, obviously people are just like, hey, this is visually striking. It's a good symbol, like, you know, and people latched onto the message because, hey, that's how viral things work. You can't
Yeah.
control what goes viral.
Right.
Mhm.
But there was a theory that, like, you know, everybody blacks out their Instagram for a day, maybe everybody just stops talking about it and it loses some steam. What a
What?
conspiracy.
No, that's
I mean,
such
that's-
a weak conspiracy.
That, I mean, no, like people were saying
this
that.
is the
like,
retweet
yeah.
issue I was talking about earlier. It's like, oh, am I supposed to?
Sam, I
post-
don't have strong conspiracies, all right, man? None of them are actually
That's
strong.
one.
They're
That's
all
funny.
weak. They're like flat earth bullshit. Like,
Okay.
none of them stand up to scrutiny.
Sorry, hold on. Whoa. Okay.
nah, the
My
thing-
Don't
bad.
call me out. Don't call my conspiracies, man. I know they're already
The
weak.
thing with that one was, you know, you post you were, like the goal at the end of the day was supposed to be, we stand in solidarity together. So we, you know, we kind of, you know, we post this black thing in support of Black Lives Matter.
Mhm.
The problem with it was if you hashtag Black Lives Matter, it completely disintegrates and destroys anything that was, you know, making that movement progress forward. So they started going around saying, hey, do not hashtag Black Lives Matter, hashtag Blackout Tuesday. And so it became confusing. And a lot of people were like, why would we do a blackout and then stop talking about the issues that actually brought things to light for us? You know, so then it just became this like, what are we doing? Are we just following a trend or are we thinking for ourselves? And I found myself kind of straddling the line. I was like, I want to support this blackout, but I don't actually know why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
I like the idea of like
Yeah.
taking a day to like not be about social media or anything like that, because you know a lot of people do get caught up in trends and like going to the protests to take a picture of yourself.
yeah.
You know, like I totally get the idea of like, hey guys, step away from all the social media bullshit and like do something real. You know.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of that blackout being a time to like discuss, reflect, converse, like get off of Instagram and go do something else. I like
Yeah.
that notion behind it, but obviously it's not a controlled thing. It, you know, everybody's going to do their own thing with it, and
Mhm.
it can mean a million different things. Just like, you know, every person at a protest is an individual with their own goals and thoughts. Like it's not a single union, it's not a single
Yeah.
company. You know?
Mhm.
And that's what the people that are anti-protests like keep trying to boil it into like one thing.
I mean,
you
that, once
know?
again, that's how human beings work. We
Right.
like, you can't
Well, even
see
the
a
anti-
number greater than 3. Like when you put like marbles on the floor, like I can put 1 marble and you can look at it and be like, that's 1. I can put 2 marbles and be like, that's 2. I can put 3 and be like, that's 3. When I put 4, your brain goes 2, 2, and you recognize it as 4. If I put 6 marbles or 8 marbles, you can't just glance at it and be like, that's 8 marbles. Your
Yeah.
brain has to be like,
Mm.
group. So conceptually,
Oh,
as
that's
human
funny.
beings, we
Yeah.
can't.
It's like in our biology.
Yeah. So when we get like
Yeah.
1,000 people, it's like those aren't 1,000 individuals. That's one group of people. That's one thing. It's a mob. You know, it's like it's not 1,000 people with 1,000 different stories and 1,000 different lives. That's too much to consider. Our brains
Yeah.
don't do it. We don't work
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
That's true.
And I catch myself doing that. I think if everybody was a little bit more aware of that, of just like lumping people together,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
it'd be a good thing to get away from.
Well,
Well,
is that it?
is that it?
You had a conspiracy theory you were gonna go.
Oh no,
into.
my conspiracy theory was coronavirus.
Oh. Oh, that's
That's-
subscribe to hear that one.
Wait, just like
we'll go into
in
that
general.
on the next one.
In general.
Maybe we should start a conspiracy theories only podcast.
I don't think
Would you guys wanna do
coronavirus is a
that?
conspiracy theory.
You
I
think
think
it's
I
just-
think we already talk about conspiracy theories in almost every podcast.
you know what? I'll tell you. You want? I'll speak my opinion.
Yeah, go ahead, speak your
All right.
opinion. Hold on, let me
I
just.
don't like this
Let me
one.
get ready.
I don't like this one. But look. Okay, look at all the politicians in Washington.
Mhm.
We have all the Senate, all these Congress people, and look at the age of all the people in charge. Okay, they're
Yeah.
all right in that
Susceptible.
susceptible thing,
Yeah.
and they have power.
Mhm.
And COVID-19 is the boomer remover. Okay.
Oh my God.
So the people. I'm just saying.
So the people in power shut down the
people
country.
who have the power to shut down the country are doing it for somewhat selfish means, because they're
Wow.
not targeting people who are affected by it. They're not targeting people who are like susceptible to it in a specific way.
Yeah.
And they're just saying, flip the switch, lights out, because
Before
we
people
don't-
latch onto that conspiracy too hard, it's still horrible when old people just die from a disease.
True.
Everybody, it's not
And they
okay
are-
for 65-year-old.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying
die.
it is either.
No, I'm not. I know you're not. I'm just saying the old people are like, you're right. Yeah, fuck that. It's like, no, guys.
Yeah.
I still have parents. I
Right.
don't
Yeah.
want them to get it and suffer a horrible fate,
Right.
as we all do.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, as we all know people who could be susceptible
older,
to this,
yeah.
and we don't want to lose. So
It's like if we had to tank the economy for a couple months to save 100,000 lives, and all those 100,000 lives happen to be 65 and older, it's still worth doing it.
Yeah.
You know.
At that point, yes.
Yes.
At that point, yes.
But 1 million?
You know what? You know what, guys?
I had to say it.
I want to do this for a podcast. I want to value a human life. Oh. All right. Not this podcast. And this is gonna be a out there discussion. I want to sit down and be like, if you were to try to value a human life, because you know what? There's a minimum wage. Multiply that by the number of hours a person lives. Is that the value of a human life?
Next time on the Corridor Cast.
apparently, actually,
Wow.
whoa,
Wow.
damn, Nico, wow. All right, so. All right, love you guys. Thanks for listening. Don't hate us. This is a free
Yeah.
speech zone.
Yeah,
This is
guys,
a-
Free
yeah.
speech zone.
This is a free speech zone. And,
We're having a conversation. All right.
And remember, like Nico said, we can always change our opinions
Yes.
Yes.
whenever we want. We can change
To
them
suit
from
our
right
needs.
to wrong or back again.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
It's your life.
We're exploring with each other.
Try to.
and sometimes
to
you
change
say it
your
for the
opinions
laughs.
for the
Sometimes
best.
you say it for the laughs, like I kind of
Yeah.
did there a little bit.
Just know where that. Know when we start getting a little edgy, it's usually just for the laughs and the fun what ifs.
Yeah.
How else do you invent like cool alien sci-fi
We can
stories?
preface this on the next one. Okay. All right. Next
Cool.
time on Corridor Cast, conspiracy theories, and we value a human life.
And we all take a bottle of water that was drank by a COVID-19 patient, and all take small sips from it and see who gets symptoms
Hell.
first.
No,
Oh my God.
I will not be doing that. Few films to check out for any listeners out there that want to do more research on the subject. I highly suggest The 13th, Melanin Code, Hebrews to Negroes, and
What? Hebrews?
Hebrews to
Hebrews.
Negroes. Yeah, that was a really good one. And the last one that I watched was, I think it's called Hidden Secrets by Tariq Nasheed. So, like, just to kind of give you context of history and also Black history.
Is it too old to like throw an American History X into that list?
No, I think no.
It's a good dramatic expose
I think it's a great
of
character
how
study.
white young men can get sucked into that life.
It's a good changing
Yeah.
the process of changing your mind story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
You know, I'll even throw one out there. What is it? I listened to a podcast, the Joe Rogan podcast with Daryl Davis. Really, really, really good. Really cool. Jazz musician who converted like 200 Ku Klux Klan members.
Nice.
Took their robes.
Good for him.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Really good story.
Nice. Well, guys, I love you guys.
Love you too,
It's
buddy.
dope working here with you guys, and I appreciate you guys being empathetic to addressing the elephant in the room.
You bet, man. Likewise, I
that's the-
appreciate you.
That's it.
Really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us and not grow impatient with discussions on it, and yeah, and just share thoughts and viewpoints.
Yeah.
It's very valuable.
Agreed. All right.
All right, cool.
Good
Well,
times.
see you in the next podcast, everybody.
Sings out, signifying the start of the Corridor podcast. Once again, welcome back. And as promised, today we have a very special episode with myself,